Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the second day of OY-ITC, Organization of Youth in International Trade and Commerce, Houston 22 Trade Show and Exhibition. Looking at the theme of the role of trade exhibitions in promoting non-oil export trade in Nigeria. It was great yesterday, and it's going to be super great and greater today. We look at the non-oil export sector, what is happening in the agro-allied sector, the textile, the shoe industry, the mining industry. We're even looking at the renewables, the biofuels, the wind farms and others. Beyond oil and gas, what are the potentials of these sectors in the Nigerian economy? How can we integrate youths to ensure economic prosperity and involvement, and also the question of minorities and women in fulfill their dreams? Ladies and gentlemen, my name remains Sonny Lawrence Oputa, welcoming you again to this show. We promise you that the discussions we will have today, from the presentations on branding, the keynote speech, the opening remark, the discussions on role of minorities in the development of the non-oil sector, and for us to understand properly what OY-ITC stands for and why this trade show is very important. It is hard for us, wherever we are, with the thousands of people here, delegates and participants in this conference today, and the millions of people watching us everywhere. It's an awesome day in Houston. And as we know, the beautiful weather in Houston, and we believe it's also beautiful weather in Nigeria, in all over Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and welcome the following to the high table for this. And from there, we're going to go ahead and have the anthem, the USA National Anthem and Nigeria National Anthem. I'll be calling upon the President and CEO of OY-ITC to come over to the table. Mr. Chinedu Amadi, please, let's get our hands together for him. We are also welcoming Dr. N.J. Njideka Kelly, the President of Afro-Agric, to come over to the high table, please. This is welcoming Sherry Balogun, Managing Director of Shellback Holdings, to come over. Please, let's get our hands together for him. Permit me to welcome Dr. Kit Roy to come over, of the Kingdom Ambassadors Assemblies and also of New Generation. In the same token, we are welcoming Mr. Anthony Bofua, the Principal Consultant of Lekki Customers Operations and Consultancy, to the high table. Please, let's get our hands together for Sani Ozo Ibrahim, the CEO of Victory Finance and Investment and founding partner of Afro-Agric. Let's get our hands together for him. Also inviting our super comedian and humorist, popularly known as Okunu, if he's around, for him to come and join us on the high table. At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, it's a give honor to who honor is due. Wherever you find yourself, respect the country and walk along with them. Let's go ahead and have the playing of the United States of America National Anthem. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That was the American National Anthem. And we will go ahead to call upon our dear friend and patriot, Lexing, to come and render the Nigerian anthem.
Rise up, come on, try. Nigeria's gone away to serve our father's land with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and mind, one nation bound in freedom, peace and unity.
Thank you. That was great. Thank you, Blessing. That was great. To render the national anthem of Nigeria, to observe the glory of the motherland. We are so happy that this trade show and exhibition is taking place today to give a big showcase of what is going on. There is hope for Nigeria. There is hope for the youth. And there are winds of prosperity sailing, and we believe that will come surely to pass. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we want to call upon the President of Organization of Youth in International Trade and Commerce.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on existing protocols. I'm very delighted today, day 2 of the OY-ITC Houston 22 Trade Show and Exhibition being held at the Expo Event Center in Houston, Texas. We enjoyed and we saw the panel discussion of yesterday, and we looked at the opportunities of non-oil exports in Nigeria. And the excitement is that there is hope for Nigeria. The OY-ITC has become a point that Nigerians and diasporans and investors can meet to look at the opportunities and see how to participate and discover and develop Nigeria and Africa through trade shows and exhibitions where youth and women entrepreneurs can engage, market, sell, and prosper in their various products, in their creative content, and in their competencies. And so, today, I want us to look forward with much hope that the giant Nigeria has the chance to wake up to the call by its people because of the numerous resources that is abundant on the continent and that is available to be accessed if properly harnessed. This trade show that we have started and we believe that is exposing the potentials of our great continent and Nigeria is here to make sure that everyone that is listening, that is watching, that has seen, can become a part of a great project. So I invite all to take the opportunity that we're offering and liaise with us and work with the OY-ITC. We ask the government that what they are doing back home, that more can be done. And we ask investors, angel investors, we ask kingdom investors to come in to become a part of a great system through the OY-ITC. Thank you once again, and let's enjoy today's trade show. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. President Chinedu Amadi of OY-ITC. Our keynote speaker for today is a lady who is very much involved in public speaking. She's involved in leadership and organization, done a lot of works as an author of several books. She's also the principal founder of Afro Agric and the CEO of New Generation Consulting Company. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us to welcome the keynote speaker, Dr. Njideka Kelly.
Greetings and welcome, everyone, to day 2 of this trade show organized by OY-ITC. Respected guests, ladies and gentlemen, our friends, vendors, business owners, people of Houston, I welcome you to day 2 of this trade show. Allow me to begin by just simply stating that people attend trade shows and exhibitions for various reasons. One of the most important of those reasons is that they come to learn new things, to see what's out there, to find solutions to problems that they are facing, and to sell unique products or unique ideas of theirs to the public. This is why this is so important. This show that is organized by OY-ITC to bring the youth of Nigeria to Houston. The people of Nigeria generally are creative people. The people of Nigeria will do well in the world economy if given a chance. This is why this trade show is so important, that people everywhere understand that Nigeria has a lot to contribute to the world. Growing economies like Nigeria have benefited immensely from trade shows and exhibitions. These shows have opened up the international markets for locally produced goods. The local consumers have also gotten the opportunity to learn about the new and innovative products that other international businesses and organizations have. Trade shows such as this will open up avenues for Nigeria to reduce poverty within the nation, to sustain broad-based economic growth, to achieve economic stability in Nigeria. This is why OY-ITC is putting this up together. And this is the reason that the first port of call is Houston, where we know we have a very large concentration of Africans. Houston is indeed the melting pot. And if you're here tomorrow, you will hear from the mayor's office of Houston to talk about why this is so relevant in the growing economy of both Nigeria and of Texas. In a move driven towards increasing the nation's economic growth, the nation, I mean Nigeria, Nigeria organized its first international trade fair and exhibition in 1962. It was a phenomenon that saw 41 countries in attendance. This is going to replicate that 1962 trade fair, I tell you, if given the opportunity. So we're asking the Nigeria government to support the OY-ITC. We're asking the government of the United States. We're especially hoping that there will be collaboration between OY-ITC and the mayor's office in Houston to promote more of these trade shows that will bring attention, needed attention, to the development and to the constructive techniques that the people of Nigeria have in economics. However, several factors, including the low intra-African engagement in trade, have been critical in ensuring that this economic growth stalls. This is why, again, we're asking for support. These obstacles that we face, we must conquer. If Africa is going to be developed as it should, if Africa is going to feed itself, then Africa needs business people, Africa needs indigents with their creativity to be part of the discussion on how to grow the economy of Nigeria. OY-ITC, as a first, is doing what they're supposed to do in making sure that things are moved properly. Given the rapid expansion and development of trade from a global perspective, trade shows and exhibitions play a critical role in accelerating the global economic integration of developing economies such as Nigeria. Evidence reveals that trade shows and exhibitions support the small and medium entities in Nigeria as well as in other places. The Afro-Agric Expo of 2018 brought farmers from the United States to Abuja, the ICC Convention Center, to talk about ways that we could curtail the disturbances and the conflicts between herdsmen and ordinary people, as well as farmers in Nigeria. Unfortunately, that trade show and expo was not well received at the time by the government of Nigeria. Well, that should not be. As we move forward in working with OY-ITC, Afro-Agric Expo will continue to bring innovative ways and creative ways for a merger between the herdsmen, between farmers, and the people of Nigeria. This is all for growth. This is all for economic expansion. This is all for development. So we encourage Nigeria government to help support initiatives such as this. As I conclude, I urge everyone to take a thorough look at the works on display. In this site, we have different businesses, different vendors displaying their products. We encourage people to visit. We encourage people to interact. We encourage people to promote and to support these vendors. The best of the best is yet to come. Yesterday and today we had the alkaline water. I bought me some things from Shabby Herbs, a facial mask made from local ingredients. I mean, there's just so much. The clothes manufacturers, the leather goods, and all of that. This is what OY-ITC is bringing to you. Thank you very much, and I pray and hope that you have an excellent exhibition.
All right, thank you, Dr. Kelly. Looking at other areas that we can involve the youth, that people can make money doing something on their own. You can even make money by being a local farmer, and there are international markets for you, whether it's cassava, whether it's cashew nut, whether it's ginger, anything, maize. Look at it, textile. Whatever thing you're doing, there is a platform for you to showcase yourself. But after doing that, you need to brand yourself very well to ensure that you have market acceptability. Ladies and gentlemen, the key presentation we have today will be coming from Dr. Kit Rowe. Dr. Kit Rowe is the Managing Principal Executive Leadership Coach from the Excellence Network, LLC. Dr. Kit Rowe spent more than 25 years in the USA military. He's been a motivational speaker, I coach, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming the key presentation from Dr. Keith Rose on branding. Let's get our hands together for him.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. And our protocol has been established, so it's no need to go back and do that. And I have a PowerPoint presentation, hopefully, that you will be able to follow along. And I just am excited to be a part of this expo. And, you know, business is key. And I just pray that many of you who are entrepreneurs, you have products, you will glean something from this presentation today. Like I said, they'll put the PowerPoint up momentarily. And I spent 25 years in our United States Air Force as an enlisted man as well as a chaplain. And I had an opportunity to being the chaplain in Texas at Lackland Air Force Base working with the young people. And when you work with youth, Mr. Chinadu, they keep you young. And I'm not going to tell my age, but I'm past 60, but I'm 60-40. I look 40. So that's my presentation today for the OY-ITC. At this trade expo, and we're going to talk about branding. If you can go to the next slide. So branding is very important. If you can show that slide. When you think about yarn, I taught at the University of Phoenix, and I taught a class on creative and critical thinking. And I used this graphic to use to just understand the mindset and the thought processes of my students. And one of the things that I want to say to you, Mr. Chinadu, is that a lot of the young people, the millennials and the Gen Zs and the Gen A, they are brilliant thinkers. So we're going to talk about branding today. And what branding is. We're going to talk about the processes, the different form of branding, and we're going to give you some resources that you can have in your toolbox that based on your products that you have or the services that you give, you can brand them so that it will give you exposure to a wider global market. And that is what's in vogue now, that we think not only local, but we think global. And not only do we think global, but we got to also think kingdom. What is branding? Branding is a way to identify a special product, good, service, or entity such as a business or a ministry. The way to accomplish this is by establishing a name. Now, when you were born, your mother or your father gave your name. So that sets the tone for your identity, your character, your personality, and who you are. And if you are in business, you need to have a name. And you need to follow the proper protocols of getting your business established so that you can be recognized by government entities and other entities that can give you the revenue that will make you a wealth accumulator. So many times people start off as mom and pop, and they have a good name, but they don't go about to brand themselves. And I went to a conference one time, Mr. Sonny, and this gentleman, boy, he was a preacher, but he was involved in so many businesses and entrepreneurial things. And that showed me that you need many revenue streams. Wouldn't you agree? You need many revenue streams. Now, those of you who are in the audience and on the panel, say something to me so that they won't think we're here at an empty room. All right? So you got to, it's a logo or a slogan to differentiate one entity for another. And we think about Nike, just do it. And Coke, it's the real thing. It's amazing how Coke has gone all around the world. Even some of the poorest nations, they have Coca-Cola. So if Coca-Cola can do it, you can do it also. All right, next slide. How do we form and protect our brand? You have an idea, and you have that creativity. And I'm going to use a hand illustration after I go through a few talking about the different types of different things. You establish how you want to be known, how you want to be recognized, and how you want to be seen. Do you want your business name or your acronym or your logo or tagline or all three to be the way that we brand this entity? Think about that. How do you want to be known? You know, you can put on the Nike shoes and you see that logo on it, and what comes to mind, just do it. And so your branding of your product, your goods, and your services, everybody should know what you're all about by that slogan, by that trademark, etc. And therefore, that's how you become a household name. So I started telling you when I went to this conference, this gentleman has such an ingenious mind. And he said if the Lord told him to put a jet engine on a chicken, that chicken will be like a plane and fly because it was God inspired. And your brand is also your signature. You know, your name means something. And back during the days of the king, they had and even in the Bible, they had a signet ring. And when everybody saw any document that had that imprint or that mark from the king's signet ring, that was a branding. That was a trademark. And that was law. And you had to obey it. And, you know, back during the day, we didn't sign a lot of contracts, but today you have to do that. And therefore, it was just a handshake because my handshake meant something and my word to you was my bond. And therefore, branding protects you, and we're going to move along right quickly. It's a legal protected brand that's known as a trademark. Go to the next slide, please. Your trademark is your intellectual property. It protects others from damaging your brand. You know, there are a lot of the scammers and phishers out there on the internet, and that's why you need to go through the proper legal channel. If you got some type of business, a logo or slogan, you ought to get it brand. And two types of trademark applications are current use in the commerce and the intent to use in the comment. Next slide. I want to show you something. I want to use a personal example. I hold annual leadership summits, and I came up with this bright title, EntreLeadership in Global Markets. Little did I know that EntreLeadership was a trademark. So we had made up all of our literatures and all of our booklets, and one of my speakers sent it to the people, and they contacted me, and they said, did you know that you're in violation of a trademark? And I said, no, I didn't. Put up the next slide. And I immediately spent a lot of money, and I had to pull that down, and then I had to come up with my own branding, Kingdom Leadership in Global Market, because they, you know, like kind of gave me a little soft scare, and you know, they'll threaten lawsuits and anything. So you want to protect yourself. And you may come up with an idea, but you need to do your research to make sure that there isn't a trademark. Okay? All right. And then also, say for instance, Delta Airlines. There are other, if you go into Lowe's or if you go into, what's the other one, Home Depot, you will see some faucets and sinks with Delta on there. And so Delta Airline has their branding and their trademark, but then in this textile or whatever it's called with those sinks, there's also Delta, and they have done it so that they are protected with their trademark. So that's because a name is out there. That doesn't mean that you cannot use it with your product, just long as you don't use it with Delta Airlines product. Okay? You understand that. Go to the next slide, please. Copyright, that's one form of intellectual property. A lot of people in the academic world, they'll do copyright, or somebody write a book, they want it copyrighted. And then there's the fair use. That means that there are certain uses that do not infringe that copyrights owner rights, such as a journalist. If you had to do a doctoral degree, you can go and you can do research in a library, and even though it's copyrighted, as long as you give that person credit, you can use that information. So it's fair game. And then lastly, there are patents, and it protects inventions. So if you come up with an invention, you can protect your invention so that nobody can steal it. And here's the application process. What does the process entail? You must indicate the entity type, basis for filing, intent to use, and current use, provide a logo. You see some of the logos, Afro Agrit, OY-ITC, and other vendors here at this expo. They have a logo. I have a logo for the Excellence Network. I have a logo for my Royal Ambassadors Ministry. You have a logo, and that logo is your symbol or your artwork to be associated with your name, your product, your goods, and your services. And it provides a specimen for current use application. And these are real-world examples of how you are currently using your mark. And I didn't put mine up, but Royal Ambassadors, I have a globe with an eagle with a scepter flying to the nation, because that's what I do. I have gone to 42 different nations in my lifespan so far, and I'm a Royal Ambassador to the nations. The cost and the process. It's wise to conduct a search before using the trademark or a branding or applying for one. And all applicants must pay a non-refundable $599 governmental fee to file. So some of you that are here that have the water and you have other goods and services and you have the food, you want to go ahead and do this. Go and file the filing fee, $599. You are assigned an examining attorney who will make the final determination for your goods or services and your name, your logo, or your slogan. And we have here in the United States, I don't know if they have it in Nigeria, what's called United States Patent Office, Patent and Trade Office. And they'll give you a serial number. Just like when you're writing a book, the Library of Congress will give you an ISBN number. And therefore, that work and that number identifies you and your work, and it's important that you have that number, and also you get a tax ID with the IRS, etc. Applicants can either be accepted or rejected, and it can be as short as 6 months to 16 months. Let's go to the ways to apply, and then we're going to take questions from the answers. So like I said, I'm not going to go through all of the slides. Here are the ways that you apply for your branding, your copy, or your copyright, or your trademark. The three ways are: you hire an attorney. I did that when I filed my NLC or when I went to get my nonprofit established. Or you can do the filing yourself. You go through a legal documentation processing company, okay? And then, say for instance, you want a website. A lot of times when you're going into filing with the government and getting grants and other resources, they're going to look at your website. And it can't be shabby. I was telling them before the expo started that when I came out of Oral Roberts, I was living in Washington, D.C., and I worked a temp job until I went to the church where I was on staff as a pastor, one of the associate pastor. And in this lawyer's office, so many people were contacting them saying, hey, did you get this and you didn't get that? And so, Mr. Sonny, what I found out is that the young men in that mailroom was trained. If it wasn't of excellence, don't you think that's of excellence right there? But you know what they did? It went into file 13. And they did not, and I had to deliver this to the lawyers, and that stuck in my head. And it continues to be in my head. Anything you do, listen to this, entrepreneurs, do it in the spirit of excellence, because excellence sees excellence, excellence begets excellence, and excellence reproduces excellence. So the panelists here are expert in their fields, they're consultants, and you can consult them also to help you go to the top and be a success. So network with other people. And then I said I was going to use the hand illustration. I thought start with the thumb. You're a creator, and you are a inventor. And your thumbprint needs to be on that creation and that invention. Then the pointer finger, you need to become a producer and produce those goods and those services. And then the middle finger, move from creator to inventor to producer to be a distributor. I was talking to the man, the entrepreneur that had the water there, and I drink alkaline water, but he said, my water is not like any other water. So he can be a producer. And I said, let's look at how we can help getting your water in some of these big food chains and places. And then the ring finger. You know, it's been said that the reason why we put our ring on our left finger if we're married, because there's a nerve that goes up to our heart. That's why you like your honey boo and you like your wife and all of that. So then you become an innovator. And we talked about that yesterday. And you gave the story about that young man who was an innovator, and he thought outside of the box. In fact, he blew up the box, and he wasn't limited to think inside the box. And when you're an innovator, you blow up the box, and you don't use the same tried and true methods. You're not one-dimensional, but you're three-dimensional. And then the little pinky finger, even though the little, you know, you drink tea with your little pinky finger and everything, but you want to move from creator, inventor, producer, distributor, innovator to a wealth accumulator and be like Mr. Sonny Abraham, own all the money in the world. Thank you very much. Next slide, question and answers or comments. Put up the last slide. Next to last slides. Questions plus ideas equal dollars. Show me the money, Sonny. All right. Any questions from the panel? Any questions from our audience?
But first of all, let me ask you, what's the integration between branding and marketing? Branding, marketing, and sales, the integration.
See, marketing is how you, marketing is more of how you sell yourself. All right, like you want to market yourself, but your branding is your name and your logo and your signature. And you use various marketing tools like the internet to make yourself known out there. That's how you market. Like with this conference, you go to newspapers, you do public service announcement, you're marketing your conference, and you do this also with your business. So branding is your stamp. Hey, this is my invention. This is my creative baby. This is my product that through blood, sweat, and tears, this is a God-inspired idea or invention, and so I want my brand on it. All right, any other questions from the audience?
Just a contribution. Thank you, Dr. Keith Roll. Very impressive presentation. I think we've all learned quite a bit from your presentation. I would say just sharing from my experience working with entrepreneurs, and some of them from Nigeria here. And, you know, we identified branding as a key challenge for entrepreneurs getting into the global market. And so we were working with some particular groups and looking at branding. And in our local parlance, you know, we would say plantain chips. When you make plantain chips and tied in plastic bags, just tied in plastic bags, it's called kwekere in Nigeria, you know, plantain chips. And we have packaged plantain chips. And so we always say the difference between, you know, that packaged plantain chips and your kwekere is the branding or the packaging itself. Mm-hmm. So we find out that just doing proper branding can grow the value of a product, you know, tremendously. So we saw people tie products in poly bags and sell it for 1/3, 1/4 the price, and the moment they put it in a proper package, the value grows, you know, almost 4 times, 5 times the price. So what we're taking from that is that, you know, when people sit back a bit and do proper branding, that will give value to their products. And so they should take it as a very key important part of, you know, getting into the global market. Because when you get into the stores, you know, you get into the African stores, you get into other stores, and you see same product, but because you look at the packaging of that product, you want to identify yourself with that product. But the content may be the same, but because of the product, the way they've packaged it, you quickly pay more for that product. And so that's the impact of branding. Thank you.
While Dr. Kelly is getting ready to say something, is there a question from our internet audience, Sunny? Is there any question from the internet audience?
Yeah, there's a question after you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I was just going to say that I recognize a journalist from Nigeria, Ms. Gladys Johnson. I know Gladys has, yes, Gladys is right here. And Gladys has shifted from print media to electronic media. And I just wanted to get her perspective on branding and marketing and how electronic media enhances brands.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Gladys Johnson, and I was a brand journalist in Nigeria also. So what we used to do as a brand editor, we used to critique products, and then either we promote it or we bring it down. And then we used to look at the packaging. So then we critique adverts too. So there are some adverts when it comes to children, content. Then you start using some kind of funny words that's derogatory words that's not meant for children. So we always look for such adverts, and we start writing about it immediately. It makes them to change those products and their packaging. So that's part of the things we do in critiquing products and branding. So and marketing also.
Thank you. That was powerful from our journalists. I just want to contribute as a businessman, an entrepreneur, and a professional business analyst. I just want to give a little advice to our exhibitors and entrepreneurs out there. As an entrepreneur, there's something you want to take really serious, especially when you feel that you just 1 to 5 people running a business, like your company size is not more than 5 people, you feel that you can just do whatever you want to do. You want to take documentation seriously. You want to take filing seriously, because as a businessman, sometimes a business is not going the way you want it to go. So at that time, you want to introduce business analysis. So 2020, we had recession, and a lot of business were having issues based on the recession and the pandemic and all of that. So a lot of companies had to go back to their drawing board and start to check how they can readjust themselves into new settings and then get themselves up and running, because they don't want to go down the drain with the system, the pandemic. At that time, if you don't have a good filing system prior to the pandemic, a business analyst might have a tough time trying to help you re-enhance your system. Because what a business analyst does is that he's most likely the subject matter expert to the team that is helping you take care of the business. A business analyst will work with the project manager. A business analyst will work with the data analyst on set. A business analyst will also work with a DBA, that is a database administrator on set, and much more. So a business analyst is more or less a subject matter expert to the team that will help you take your business from the step where you are to the next stage. Right. So a business analyst job mostly is doing a taking business requirements and then help you to use this requirement to advance you to the next stage. So he does not have much documents to work with if you were not doing proper filing before now. So documentation as an entrepreneur is very key.
Engineer, and then I'm going to give a closing quote.
Yeah, thank you. It was very interesting and educating listening to the last speaker talk about branding, trademarks, and all. I just want to share something about the importance of trademarks, branding, and also registration of your various products, and even your company name itself. Now, starting from the issue of trademark, I had a friend who was a journalist who came up with a brilliant idea about publishing a document which he called Niger Times. And he had registered this company and had even started publishing online. Only for him 6 months down the line to get a letter from an attorney saying that he has infringed on a trademark. So here he had a very good product. He has even started making money from it, but someone had registered that trademark. He never thought about it, but what he could not understand was it that the trademark was registered after he had started his business and the person saw that this is becoming successful, or somebody had the same idea and had registered the trademark before. So as I speak, he's still in litigation. So you can see, if you're starting off, you might have a product which is not successful or is at a teething stage, but as you begin to grow, sharks will begin to lock around to show their face. So it's very important from the beginning that you register the trademark for any product that you have.
And branding.
Very, very important for your branding.
Yeah.
And secondly, coming as easy as it looks, registering even your domain name. You find out that a lot of people now look for successful businesses and they go and register a domain name in that business name. So you find out you are in trouble, or you want to register your website, and then you go and find out that somebody already is using your name. And I had a personal experience with that. My company, Shebag Holdings Limited, I wanted to register a web name, a domain name, and I found that somebody already was using that name. 3 years down the line, somebody wrote me and said, I have this domain name and it's for sale. If you want to buy it, it's $60,000. And it's my company name. But then I couldn't do anything about that. So, it's very critical in terms of, doing this little registration, trademark, domain name, and things like that. And then lastly, the last speaker spoke about, checking documentation registration. Very important too. Many years back, when I was registering another company, I gave it to a lawyer. And, the last speaker said, some of these things you can actually do it yourself, and it's good to learn how to do it. A company was registered, and not very active, but then started getting some good businesses and became active. And then you suddenly discover that the person who registered the company or the attorney has his name as a director of that company. Yes, exactly. So it's very important that we take note of this and check. Documentation is very, very critical. You check as much as not even accepting when they bring you a document that says, okay, this is the registered document showing your name as a director, address, and all of that. You need to probe with the CAC, as it's called in Nigeria, or here, like he's mentioned, the authority that does exactly Corporate Affairs Commission. And you need to check. Do a simple search to show the true directors, or else you're going to get a shocker somewhere down the line. So this is just an addition to the issue of branding, registration, and trademark. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Just one quick thing. As much as you are, keeping documents and making sure that your documents are done properly, it's also very, very critical to understand document management, okay? Paper clutter is no longer in fashion. So as you register your documents, your businesses, you want to save them in the cloud, okay? So what does that mean? It means that it's tucked away somewhere for hundreds of years, and you can pull it wherever, whenever, because you lose paper. You could have a fire. There are disasters that happen, and you find out that that one document that you had of your company registration is gone.
And after this one, I'll give my quick summary and closure. 2 minutes for me.
I just want to buttress the point on branding. And at the same time, I would want to encourage those small-scale entrepreneurs that do not have the knowledge of all this branding. Branding simply means the way you want to be seen.
And known.
And known. And branding also means that, there's this saying that you want to be seen the way you want to be addressed. Some of us are just starting our businesses, and it does not mean that as little as your business is, you can still not brand it. You can brand it.
OY-ITC, Organization of Youth in International Trade and Commerce, have done a lot to ensure that the non-oil sector is well grown. We want to present to you somebody who is not in the oil sector beyond oil and gas. She is a social media expert, an actress, someone who has great information to share on how her products and services have helped to enrich the world. Here is presenting Bookie Wright to you to share her experiences with us. Bookie Wright, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sonny. I am going to say that I am a product of non-oil and gas. Bookie Wright is an household name. Bookie Wright is a product that even I am feeding on, and I know that a lot of people are feeding on this name. Bookie Wright is a product that I can say is successful all over the world and not stopping. And how am I able to do this? Because I have a team of experts that have decided to brand this product called Bookie Rights. Whatever products you think you have, or whatever products you think you have, a major thing for you is branding. You have to be able to brand yourself, brand your product the way you want people to see it. I know there are other artists that would do what I'm going to do for less. It all has to do with branding. There are other event compare that will do what Mr. Sonny is doing for less, but because of the branding. The same thing as an artist, as a producer of products, or as an entrepreneur, the way you want to be seen, the way you want your products to be seen, the way you want your product to be addressed. Lastly, I would say this in my language. Thank you very much. You have a question for me? Okay.
Okay. My question is about people that have several companies. As a consultant, I've been approached by many people who have 4, 5, 6 companies, and they have the question of which one do I brand? Okay, so the focus, and as you know, is very expensive, to get the kind of branding that you want. Now, if you have 6 different companies and you have to spend all this money on each of them, what is the real value that as an entrepreneur, what do you really get? And how do you go about it in making sure that the one brand or the several brands are out there doing what they're supposed to be doing?
In every business, prioritization is key. In every business that you do, you want to prioritize whatever products or whatever service you are doing. It's not easy for you to be able to brand everything at the same time, but once you're able to prioritize it, you would know which one comes first, which one is providing to take care of the rest. So that way, you know that that one that is taking care of the rest of the businesses is the one you want to put first. I hope that answers your question. Yes, thank you. You're welcome. Do I have any more questions?
We want to feel the experiences of Sheriff Balogo, the Managing Director of Shebag. He's someone into the agro-allied sector. It will be a pleasure to welcome Mr. Sheriff Balogo to share his experience.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I must commend the OY-ITC for a well thought about program, well organized, and the theme, especially role of trade exhibition in promoting non-oil export in Nigeria. We're going back to the basic. Before the discovery of oil, the non-oil sector was the base and the bane of the base for our economy. Nigeria used to be one of the largest exporter of cocoa, cashew nuts, palm oil. In fact, we're giving palm oil to the world. In 1973, palm oil was given to Malaysia, and today Malaysia is exporting billions of dollars worth of palm oil and palm oil products. So this program is very apt. Our oil is dwindling. It's a non-renewable resources, but agriculture is a resource that is renewable, and it provides employment to our teeming youths And if you look at agriculture's contribution to our GDP, it contributes over 40%, while oil is doing much less. Oil might be earning more foreign exchange, but in terms of contribution to the GDP, agriculture is more. In terms of employment to our teeming youths and citizens, agriculture is doing more. And I want to let us know here that there are certain crops that, if we go back to basic and look at them, they can put us back to earning a huge amount of income. We use it to create, to eradicate unemployment. I can start from palm oil, going back to our palm oil. We can see what palm oil, or the oil business in general. When I say oil, edible oil. Look at the advent of, from the advent of this Ukrainian-Russian crisis. The prices of all edible oils skyrocketed to the extent that oil was being rationed in shops in UK and other countries where you could not go in and walk in and buy whatever volume you wanted. And if you check the trajectory of the increase in these prices, you will see that prices jumped by over 70%. What does that portend to us if we go back and look at our potential to grow some of these things and process them in a bid to getting our economy back to where it should be? Thank you very much. And on this note, I'd like to sincerely thank Chinedu, the president of the OY-ITC, and will certainly take the message back home to all other stakeholders so that the next edition of this program will also be attended by people across all the value chain. Thank you so much, and I wish us all successful trip back to our destination. God bless you all. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sherry Balogun. That was wonderful. The MD, I'll be calling upon Dr. Njideka Kelly to let us know the way forward for OY-ITC and how you feel about it. The networking, the new friends you've made, the business opportunities that have been developed, and especially getting women involved in the project of OY-ITC.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sonny. Before I even begin, I had a question for Alhaji Sheriff. I wanted to have you, he did make a comment on agriculture, and he talked about the sort of crops that can actually push Nigeria up again to ensuring that our GDP continues to grow in that sector. You did mention palm oil, and I wanted to know, are there other products, are there other seeds, are there other crops that can actually grow given the topography of Nigeria, and where do they grow?
Thank you very much, Doctor. I just mentioned palm oil because it took me back memory lane, and I know that palm oil was, we gave that to the world. I could see so. However, there are a couple of other crops that grow very well. First, I'll say sesame seed. I'm sure we all know sesame seed here. It's sprinkled on most of the burgers that we buy. It's used in confectionaries, used as an oil. Now, Nigeria currently produces about 500,000 tons of sesame seed. And sesame seed is produced across 28 states and counting. Presently, in the last five quarters, sesame seed has been the highest non-oil product that gives Nigeria foreign exchange. It used to be cocoa, but sesame seed is #1 now. And it's been a product that's been very consistent in terms of the pricing. The price has not gone down for the past 7 years and counting. So, and I'll give you insights for those who might be interested in even cropping it. On a hectare of land, 1 hectare of land, you need just about 240,000 to grow. And if you grow it on 1 hectare of land, you are going to get a yield of about 600 kilograms. That's 0.6 tons. If you multiply that by the current pricing now of about 800, that's 480,000. And you're putting 240. So you see, you're making 100% profit. And this is grown over a period of just 3 months. From from planting to harvest, it's just 90 days. 95 at most for some of the species. So you can see it's very lucrative. It's a drought-resistant crop. You need just 1 month of good rainfall, and you're up and running. Another gold mine is cashew nuts. We're presently doing about 400,000 tons of cashew nuts. Cashew nut is grown across virtually everywhere in Nigeria. And also, for each ton of cashew that you process, you create 10 jobs. For each ton that you process, you create 10 jobs. So we're doing 400,000 tons. If you multiply 400,000 tons by 10, so that means you're going to create about 4 million jobs if we process all the cashew that we grow in Nigeria. It's a very profitable one also if you go into the business of export, from buying the raw nuts and exporting, even without processing, just drying and shipping, you make about 30% profit. Now another one is, I'm sure it's called zobo, which is hibiscus flower. Hibiscus is grown across Nigeria for the leaves to make soup, and the flowers, the flower also to produce zobo drink, or Sorex. This is known as Sorex. Another name for it is Sorex. We also have ginger. Nigeria produces over 350,000 tons of ginger. Our ginger is the most pungent. It has the most spice. It's better than the Chinese ginger. Another interesting one, which is livestock snail. I know a lot of us here eat snail, the meat. It's a delicacy. But I want to expose to you today what you can make from snail. I'm sure we all know the slime, the mucus that comes out from the snail. That mucus that comes out from the snail, it's a big, big, big fortune. A liter of that mucus, and get it right, 1 liter of that mucus sells for over $300. 1 liter sells for over $300 in international market. Presently in Nigeria, 1 liter sells in the local market for 50,000 naira. And all you need to do is grow snail. In 1/10 of this hall, in 1/10 the size of this hall, you can begin to grow snail. You grow the snail, you harvest the mucus, and then you still sell the meat. That is a multi-billion-dollar business that is waiting to be explored. And counting at present, I think official list of products that we have that we can export from Nigeria, I think there are about 65 of them that have been listed, that have the potential. And there's a list of, I will share that list with Mr. Chinedu, so that for those who are interested, can have the opportunity to look at it and see which one they would like to invest in. Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now you see why I called him back, because the question that our moderator had asked is, what is the way forward for OY-ITC? So I needed us to use that as a segue into that discussion. There are so many others, but let me tell you, Africa, I said it yesterday, Africa can feed itself. Absolutely. Africa can feed itself. And this thing about unemployment and youth unrest and all that stuff is as a result of what? Poverty. Poverty of what? The mind. Yes? And poverty of opportunities as well. What does that mean? It means that we can find information and the opportunity that we need right here. This is what OY-ITC is doing. So as a way forward, OY-ITC, I hope you will be keeping a database of all the experts that you are meeting in this conference. There is so much to do for Africa, starting in Nigeria. So I want to tell you, for Afro Agric, which is my company, what do? We open small farms all over Nigeria. So a lot of us investors that are here, a lot of us that are entrepreneurs, I'm begging you to go back to Africa and open up farms. What is the way forward for OY-ITC? How about those ABBA Garment Association? How about those ones that do the same thing China does? How about those guys that can bring you dozens of already made shirts straight to your door, made right in Aba?